Welcome back. Hi to Two Kims One Pod. I'm Peter Kim.
I'm Anji Kim.
And welcome back to our supersized Severance Part 2. We are talking all things Severance. So if you haven't seen it, caught up, pause this, go watch it and come back. Watch a TikTok, watch a YouTube recap. We're diving in, baby. So join us. So the last episode we left off talking about Mr. Milchick.
Right.
And how, you know, there was this double meaning behind Drummond's admonishment of his huge vocabulary.
Right.
And how you were saying that, like, it doesn't matter how smart you are, competent you are, how well read. It just matters that you do your fucking job and shut the fuck up.
Compliance over competency. Absolutely. Right.
Yes. And I really do agree with that. Another thing I thought that was beautifully done was in relation to, you know, the subversion of the trope of, you know, white people saying, "Oh, you sound so eloquent," to a black person who happens to speak like a white person,
quote unquote, right? Whatever that means,
or whatever, speak well or whatever. I thought that was very interesting, and how, like, when he was told to not do that, and the paperclip issue. He goes and does like 1 million paper clips, and then he goes into the mirror and he starts speaking in shorter and shorter words until he says, "Grow, grow, grow,"
right.
And he's like, you know, screaming at himself. And this was such an interesting way. If this ends up becoming a larger commentary about how we treat humans, i.e. From slavery on, it's a very cool look at, like, what black people have to go through in order to acquiesce and be compliant.
Right. I think,
and how hard it is
absolutely
to like sign up for this cult of America when you're black.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a part of it where, you know, I think a lot of like, ultimately, when you talk about the 1865 of it all, right, and buying into the idea of America, it's been fundamentally a part of the African American experience from day one, right? Mm-hmm. Like, the place, your home, does not welcome you, right? Mm-hmm. The place where you live and love and have a family does not consider you one. You have to die for a country that does not see you as an equal. Like, you know what I mean? It has been a part, that sort of dichotomy has been fundamentally a part of the African American experience since day one, since that. And that's, I think, been a part of the reason why so many like African American artists have been the best commentators of the American experience, because they are outsiders, right? They're the people that are seeing how it goes down. And I think this is like a part of it where, you know, Milchick is kind of being able to see it, right? One, and then because they are forced to do this. But I think ultimately you're seeing everyone having to do this now, right? Because of how, like, when you were talking about the 1865, and literally was remembering the shift in American capitalism was this. Because of the bounty that we experienced initially was absolutely because of free labor. And then subsequent to that, we've had to figure out ways to get and suppress and
That's when we started, like, policing and arresting people and making them free labor.
And then also, like, immigrants. Now, that was the next wave. And then it was children. Right. And so it's, like, always been this way and figuring it out.
Of free labor.
So
that the top stays rich. That top 1% stays and remains aristocratic or oligarchic,
because otherwise the margins get too slim.
Exactly, they would have to share.
Yeah, you have to share. Like, it eats into the margins,
into a middle class.
That's right. Like, it starts to eat into the margins. Absolutely. So that's fundamentally been a part of American capitalism post slavery, and that's been like a large part of the discussion recently around the grinding nature of capitalism, and, like, especially in Korea as well. Like, you know, since episodes ago, like, it's like people cannot afford to live the life they live, even though they're constantly working, right? Because of the margins. Everyone needs shareholder profit, you know?
Yeah.
And so the profits always must grow, as opposed to any of that stuff. So I think there's this idea that when we're talking about workforce of it all, like, yes, time now is become a resource. Attention has become the resource, right? Like how much devotion you're able to give, and allegiance you're able to give to your company, your corporation. That's why there's
not
retreats.
ever clock out.
Not ever
always
clock out.
be on call and like responding to emails,
because we're a family here. We're a family,
yeah.
and this is where Gen Z really has it. They've clocked this because they grew up in it. Because millennials, we bought into the sort of the startup.
We bought into it hook, like in sink, honey. Like I was deep in. I'm still deep in. You know what I mean? The way I'm still in Hollywood. Like it's just another corporation. It's just another MLM. You know, like at the end of the day,
I mean, there's free coffee here. There's cold brew on tap.
There's red carpets.
Yes.
You know, like the perks. We're here for the perks. I really felt like Dylan G because like I was really there for the perks when I signed up for corporate America. I was like, all right, benefits. Fucking Yahoo shuttle, campus has a beach volleyball. You know what I mean? Like free lunch.
Exactly.
Like,
and the least I can do.
That's how they lured us in.
And the least I can do is love this place. That's so kind to me.
And its founder.
Yes.
And let the founder revolve into me. And that's like that is the commentary that we were talking about last episode. It's like, how much of a worker bee can you be? How good of one are you willing to sacrifice your own sense of identity and who you are?
And you see
Are you willing to erase yourself?
And you see it with
for
people.
your God.
You see it with people that are corporate people, like where things that they when you start off as a 22, 23-year-old like thing, you're able to turn it on and off, right? Like on the weekends, you're still you, but during the week, you have to kiss the ring and you're corporate girly, right?
You're corporate girly.
And then
you're marketing gal.
Like you're going in.
You're PR gay.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then you're putting on your heels before you get into the building.
You're code switching.
Yes, right. You take your gym shoes off on the train, like, you know, like all of it.
You say, hey girl, instead of hey bitch.
Yeah.
You gotta adjust.
You gotta code switch. Like,
yes,
and then as
you're in the office.
And then you see it as they spend more time. I've seen it with my friends that are in corporate world, like as over time that line starts to blur. Like all of a sudden the conversations you're having with them, even on the weekend off the clock, it's like
all about work.
I
can't believe Susie got VP. Are you serious? I was on that fucking track. I got more promotions than her. She just has big tits. Fuck her.
No, but I mean, even the way they talk is very HR'd, right? Like it's very much
we're gonna have to circle back on that.
Yes.
Like I'm talking about coming to my picnic.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll see if the synergy.
And you can tell,
from that.
And you can tell the kids that are being raised by corporate people.
Sick.
Yes. It's not that it's sick. It's just sort of like they are.
I can't even imagine how their conversations go.
It's just very
scheduling.
Yes, they're very scheduled.
Outlook me.
Yes, they're very scheduled. They're very organized. Like they don't. Their families are very without strife. Right? Like it's very much they don't.
Well, their quarterly review's coming up.
So you know you got to keep it together. Like it's just a part of it where it's there are things that are. From the outside, it's like when you look at it on paper, it's good, right? Like these are very stable homes who have parents that aren't screaming at them. That like
right, but their identities have been struck. They're all the same people.
They're living in a house. Yes,
of goats. It's all sheep.
It's just they're living in a house of carpet and concrete. There's no natural fibers there.
Yes, and the light is fluorescent. Now, I want to go back to Dylan G and talk about his arc this season has been just incredible and heartbreaking. The fact that
shocking.
Yeah. The fact that that his wife is willing to have an affair
with his innie
because, quote, he reminds me of how you used to be. That really was. It struck me right in the heart. This woman is so sad with her husband and
he's sad on the outside. He's depressed. Like,
well, for sure.
Yeah.
But they've clearly gotten to this place where they don't speak or they don't really like each other. Sure, they love each other, but like they're not really into each other.
How can they be? He's so tired.
Right, and for her to like see a jubilant, vibrant, almost younger, if you will, version of this person who's not carrying all this weight around.
Because he doesn't have any memory of it. He has no trauma, right? This is the part of it where the insidious part of the Lumen promise that actually rings true.
Yep.
Right? Like there is some relief.
You can be the best version of you.
And there's relief from all that trauma and pain, right? Like it's so like imagine.
But the thing is, the Audi doesn't know that.
No.
That's why, like, it doesn't. I don't know if that logic appeals to me. So it's like, oh, go to work and be severed, so that you don't have to be your sad self out inside. But then I'm coming back and just being my sad self. Like, I'm not getting the benefit of being severed. You know what I mean? Like, as an Audi.
Sure.
As an innie, I don't know if it's a benefit because this is all I know. There's nothing to compare.
Maybe that's actually the promise that Lumen is trying to get to.
What?
That you
be
would,
an innie forever?
Not an innie forever, but that you're able to actually sever the trauma. Like
right.
that's
I think that is what's happening. Is they're saying your traumatized human flawed Audi can be pushed away to nothing.
Yes.
Once you accept Kier Christ into your hearts as your Lord and Savior.
And he has saved
which
you.
is what which is what I used to peddle as an evangelical. So like them two, Dylan G and his wife, and that affair, plus him deciding to quit at the end and erase himself, basically committing
suicide.
Any suicide.
Yeah. So bluer side or whatever, like it's
which Helly did in season 1 or tried to do, but in a corporeal way. He did it like the final way. He cut along the vein, and he so sorry.
We're like, this is gonna be an 18 and over, like insane YouTube discretion.
Anyway, and that was such a powerful moment for me because he was happy just sitting around getting cake every 2 days or whatever.
He was the fool. That's right. He was absolutely the fool in the first season, and
he didn't, because ignorance was bliss.
Yes,
he didn't know of love and lost, and the first time he finally felt love and lost, he was like, I don't want to live anymore. Right. Because he's saying, I can't have that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not allowed
and
that.
Ultimately, the only innie to demonstrate true bravery in being willing to be absolutely free. Right? Like he's saying no. Like categorically. So
I'm out.
And so it's like I love that sort of arc where from fool to hero, sort of that arc, because he is the bravest one. He's actually the bravest and the most principled of them all.
Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to work.
I agree.
I don't think Lumen's going to let him get away that quick.
No way.
Okay? And just go back to Dylan. His innie realizing that he lives this like
sad
tangent of a life is the same thing Helena, the Audi, realized when she was watching
them kiss.
Helly kiss, realizing she's just a vessel for Kier. She will never have as rich of a life as her innie.
Right.
So that's such an interesting way to show us both of their Audi/innies looking at each other's and being jealous.
Because ultimately,
they understand they don't get
that life,
full life.
And this is why I think this is the way in which the sort of point of view of the show being so anti-capitalist is so profound, is that even this moment where we're seeing two people see the benefits of absolutely forfeiting and like being the innie, right? Like where an innie's life is better than the people on the outside. Like even that, like this other point of view, this, absolutely, it's a counter argument to people that are saying that this Severance is a bad idea.
Right.
Because they're both of them it's a testament to the fact that it can actually be good.
Right.
When I say that this is such still an indictment, is that capitalism has created the scenario where that happens.
Has a need for that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And just to round out our cast, I just want to talk about Bert and Irving G.
Do you think he's coming back?
I think this might be the end for Irving. The way episode 9 concluded with that shot of the train. But the train shot oddly edited into the hallway shot that led us right to the elevator. So I was like, why did they edit it that way? Like, that made me feel like he was leaving but not actually leaving. Like he might be going somewhere worse, or like he might be going down. I don't know. Something didn't feel right. But the fact that they showed sunset made me feel like there's a finality to it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like sunsetting this character,
right.
Almost, you know? And the fact that like Bert had this like such a difficult decision to not kill him but help him escape. And that he had his dog with him even. Like, anytime you bring a fucking dog into it, I'm like, this, you better not fuck with me. With these goddamn emotions. You know what I mean? Like, so I do think directorially it feels
final.
Okay. And I think the story, unless there is a part of Irving's story that could help us reveal something, I don't know if they would bring him back.
I do. There's a part of me, and this is just maybe me being comic book and, you know, raised on a certain level of like Marvel universe where there's a part of me where you're talking about like Cobell, like kind of coalescing the troops and then like, exerting this final coup. It's like, I feel like that's when everybody comes back. Like Carla or Paula, like everyone comes back and Irving, they all rise up out of the crowd.
Petey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Radica.
yeah, like all of them come back and like
it's like the Avengers Assemble
exactly
moment. I get it.
Yeah.
I want it to happen for sure.
Maybe at the end of season 3, but
but this isn't that kind of show.
Absolutely no. I'm just saying.
I don't think we'll have a triumphant, like, it's gonna leave us feeling bitter and upset.
Yeah.
When we end, and with like a tiny bit of hope with spring being sprung. I do know that that's going to be the last image. I just know it. Like, it has to be Persephone's footprint. Like, you know.
A lesbian rock band, I'm going to start. Like,
yeah. When you see that scene, you will, little Unji will have been vindicated. Actually, were you little when you were doing that?
No, this isn't. I was 19.
In your 20s?
Yeah, I was in my 19 to 23. The most obnoxious.
How straight were your bangs?
It was like during I took an Adderall and I like literally made this like crazy outfit and I like,
of course you did.
Yeah, I was like sewing and hot gluing like for like 24 hours straight, and it's like a crazy.
Do you have pictures? I need to you need to put pictures on Patreon.
Yeah,
please.
Yeah,
I really need that.
I have a hat, like it's crazy, but
yeah.
I mean, like I think that is the way that would end. Absolutely, I think that there will be a certain number of doors closed on season 2, like with this finale, like where
I think we'll find out Cold Harbor. We'll find out the deal with Gemma. I think we'll find out that Helena's pregnant.
Yes, and that she's been the Audi the entire time.
The Audi the entire time. Yeah, I think so. And then I hope we get something with the goats, because this is really like, it's pissing me off.
I think we're going to get a little bit of the goat, but I think we get a lot more of the goat, as in like a lot more mystery around it.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to open something with Rickon.
Yes, I think
because he's been very quiet
Yes.
this season.
Yes.
Except for like creating the manuals for the Insight
Right.
Innies. That's so funny to me.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because they've been slow playing him
Mm-hmm.
this season, and I think he's gonna be like a cliffhanger for on Friday.
I'm
I'm so excited. Yeah.
I absolutely agree that like the Rickon is going to be the big sort of, and the Devon sort of reveal will be even more. Like it'll cause more of a ruckus. I think there will be no questions will be answered. More will be raised. Same thing around the Rickon, because very specifically the thing that's been pointed out often on the TikToks is when they're preparing for the baby. This is I think in episode 1, where he sleeps at their house and there are 3 beds because one of Rick's coworkers said that a child like should not like be like around all their beds. Like it should. They should have you know what I mean? Like they shouldn't have to like, it's traumatic to
move beds.
Yeah. And then when Miss Huang is sent,
they're like, we'll ship your bed. Yeah.
So like, that's just like,
I think she's one of the, she's one of the girls who were birthed at the birthing camps.
So like,
she's one of James' daughters.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't know if she's one of James' daughters, but I think this is like an indication where Rickon and the Lumen like religious part of it, like it makes sense. Like where he's already
he's behind like the birthing.
No,
situation?
I think he's an adherent to like a zealot within the Lumen religious sect, like whatever their
some character we don't know.
Yes, like that brand of like the. It's like all how it's all Procter and Gamble, but they have a lot of different brands. I think they have a brand of religion that they've been shilling, and that Rickon is like very high up in that, and he's totally bought in.
Okay,
and that'll be a part of that reveal. But I don't know. I hope Miss Huang. Miss Huang is a Northwestern student. Like it's a freshman there.
Yes.
And
don't track her down. Please do not track her down.
But it's so wild to, I just did this movie with, I just did a movie where I have one line, and I was on set with a Northwestern student where, so like in the movie, all of us, it's supposed to be like a carousel of characters, like one line sort of things, like a montage inside of the movie, right? And so she was like the hot girl, like the hot sorority girl.
Okay.
And then there's another person that's supposed to be like truck driver, and like, you know what I mean? Like this like carousel of like types and tropes of people. And she was like the hot girl. I was cat lady. And
fits.
Yeah. As someone who hates animals. And so what's crazy is that when I was on set with her, so she's like 20. Peter, when I tell you that like I'm looking at her and I'm like standing next to her, I'm like, we're not even the same species. Like it was crazy that
You're talking about Miss Wong?
No, just like the youth of it all. Like it's just
just some girl.
Like it's just like you forget how, you know, even though I like teach and I'm around young people all the time, like I don't know, it's just like you do forget how young is.
Yeah, they're children.
They're children, you know, and so like, yeah, it's just wild. So because like she's 19, but I think in the show she's supposed to be younger, right? She's supposed to be in high school.
Like 12.
Yeah.
No, she's like a tween.
Oh, okay. So that's what I mean. It's like television and like on-screen age is so. Yeah, it's just strange. Like
it's also Asian women. You know, we can play young. All right, guys, that's all for today's episode of Severance. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you're listening to it, you obviously have seen it or enjoy us just fucking gab. So I hope you did. Thank you so much for listening. We'll tune in a couple of weeks or next week for you guys when Eunji is back from Korea, and we'll be hearing all about her experience back in the motherland. Have a safe travel, Angie. We're so excited for you. Hi, Ting.
Hi,
Say
Ting.
hi to the fam and the ancestors for us.
yeah.
Yeah. I love you guys. Bye.
Bye.